Hey guys, Tyler here, and I thought that I would just go ahead and jump on the bandwagon and show my comic book DVDs and Blu-rays that I have. Of course, being the first world anarchist that I am, I can't just do a post with pictures. I want to do a video, and I have way more comic book DVDs than I realized. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it because this is going to be a pretty long video. This first one is Batman the movie. This is the 1966 version with Adam West and Burt Ward. I picked this up at Best Buy for like $5 one time, and it was an interesting experience. I didn't care for it that much, but I've never been a big fan of the campy Silver Age Batman anyway. I'm more of a Dark Knight / Frank Miller reboot kind of guy, so there's that. The next is Batman Year One. This is one of the many DC Animated Universe films that I have. This is not my favorite DCAU film, especially not with Batman, but it's okay. The animation is a little weird. I'm not a big fan of how they tried to make it look as much like a graphic novel as possible. But the story itself was a pretty good adaptation of the film, or of the graphic novel. So there's that. This one is The Amazing Spider-Man. This is the 2D version, Blu-ray and DVD and Ultraviolet. And I hate this because this case, the Amray case is too big for the slipcover, so I have to like pull it out, and it's really frustrating. But from what I've heard, all of them are like that. And I also don't like this because the disc is weird. Like Spider-Man is sideways, but the text is upside, so I don't know if it goes this way or this way. With somebody who's really picky about how his Blu-rays go in the case, it's really kind of frustrating, but that's okay. This is an okay film. I liked it better than Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, but upon second viewing, it really wasn't that great. However, Andrew Garfield I thought was a pretty good Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and it'd be really interesting to see if the studio runs with Andrew Garfield's idea. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of making Spider-Man bisexual in Spider-Man in the third installment of The Amazing Spider-Man. Will it or will it not? We'll see. The next is one that everybody has, Marvel's The Avengers. I bought this for $7.95 at Family Video around Christmas time, and I watched it, and there's no DVD in this, no digital copy, no ultraviolet, just the Blu-ray. But I didn't like this at all. I thought it was terrible. I thought it was bad cinematography. I thought it was a bad script. I thought it was too much CGI, too much product placement. Pretty much everything I stand against in mainstream movies. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't pay very much for that. The next is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. This is another DCAU film. And this one I thought was better than Batman Year One. I also got this at Family Video, so there's no DVD, just the Blu-ray. However, still not as good as I think it could have been. I still think the animation was a little weird. I don't know what it is that they're trying with these Batman films, but there's that. And then, but the good thing about Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 is that it led to Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 2, which is probably my second favorite DCAU film after Batman Under the Red Hood. I really, really liked this film. I thought it was a really good representation of the second half of Frank Miller's graphic novel, and I thought the Joker was done really well in this film. This also has one of the best special features on it, which is a featurette about the Joker. It's one of the best that I've ever seen. So yeah. These next three, of course, are the obligatory comic book pickups, especially if you're not a Marvel fan, then you have to have Batman Begins. This is the Best Buy first wave steelbook. I know that they've since released Batman Begins and The Dark Knight in new steelbooks. I don't like the cover as much as on those, so I'm going to stick with these. I've got Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Of course, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, absolute classics in the superhero genre. Batman Begins is arguably the film that kicked off the superhero kick that we're in now. I think The Dark Knight Rises will be remembered as by far the least strong of the three films. It's still good, and I really liked the cast, and there are a lot of redeeming factors about The Dark Knight Rises, but it just doesn't hold up to the other two, and I think that history will remember it as that. I think that people really are big on it right now because it's so recent, but once history passes a little bit and it's a couple years, I think it'll be remembered as definitely the weakest of the three films. And then these next two are actually not DVDs or Blu-rays. They are PS3 games. It's Batman Arkham Asylum. This is the Game of the Year edition. This is a really, really good game. I think it's actually better than its sequel. I just really liked the story. It was a really dark, creepy story, and the parts with the Scarecrow, I'm not gonna lie, they scared the crap out of me, man. This was a scary game to play at parts of it. And a really rewarding game, and really, it was good to see a Batman video game that lived up to the legend of the films and of the comics. And then there's Batman Arkham City, which I think was a fun game. It was a good game, just not nearly as good as Batman Arkham Asylum as far as the story goes. I like how the idea of the original game was scoped out into a bigger setting, but I wish that the story had been a little better. But that's okay. They're both fun and enjoyable games. And then now we're getting into DVDs that I have. The first is Batman. This is Tim Burton's 1989 film. This is actually a dual disc, and I watched this for the first time in several years a couple of months ago, and I was horrified at how bad it was. I didn't remember it being that bad, and I didn't remember it separating from the story so much in terms of the Joker's origin story and the character of Bruce Wayne. I just thought there was so much changed in that film that I just couldn't get behind it, which is part of why I haven't seen this next one, Batman Returns, which is Tim Burton's 1992 sequel to Batman, in so long. I saw this when I was a kid. I remember barely anything about it. I've hesitated on giving it another watch because I'm afraid I'm going to hate it as much as I hated Batman. So yeah, eventually I'll revisit it, but my expectations are not high. The next one is a Batman triple feature. This has Batman Gotham Forever, or Batman Gotham Knight, Batman Under the Red Hood, and Batman Year One. Of course, I've already replaced Year One on Blu-ray. I want to replace Batman Under the Red Hood on Blu-ray because it's an amazing film. The first one, the thing I hate about this is that it's in a stack pack. All three discs go on one spindle, which is not good at all. But this was like $18 for three really good animated films, so $6 a film. I guess I can't complain that much. This one is Batman Gotham Knight. This is an anime. It's actually a Japanese anime film. It's 6 segments that are made into one film, and I thought it was okay. The best thing this one has going for it that the other two don't is that it has Kevin Conroy as the voice of Batman, who did the original voice in Batman the Animated Series and also did the voices in Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. Because of his voice, it made it feel more like an animated series spinoff, even though the Japanese animation style didn't really work for me for Batman. And then we have Batman Under the Red Hood, which is my favorite Batman animated film, arguably the best Batman film ever. It's just really, really great. It's a great storyline, and the film was done so well. It was animated in the same style as Batman the Animated Series, and even though it didn't have Kevin Conroy, it still had a really good voice cast, and it's just a really great film. Really gritty too, surprisingly gritty. And then there's Batman Year One, which I already spoke about earlier, which I have replaced on Blu-ray. And then we have Spider-Man. This is Sam Raimi's first film in this trilogy with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. I've seen this film. I saw this film a long time ago, like right after it came out on DVD. When I think this was like a Christmas present or something. I haven't seen it since. I don't remember liking it that much, but it's just one of those things that found its way into my collection. And then we've got Superman Returns, which I've actually never seen. I bought this on clearance at Half Price Books a couple of years ago for $2. I haven't seen it yet. I have heard a lot of bad things about it, but I've heard the things that are bad about it are lack of action and too much introspection on the part of Superman. So those are things that I actually tend to like in films. So maybe I'll like it. Hopefully, I like it a lot better than Man of Steel because I hated Man of Steel. And then I have Superman the movie. This is a 4-disc collector's edition. This is the original Richard Donner film, and it has, as you can see, 4 discs. This is the original 1978 theatrical version, the 2000 expanded edition, which I don't know what the difference is, and then this is disc 3 and 4, which are just special features. I haven't actually seen this either. I've never been a real big Superman fan. I think I bought this because it was like $4 on sale somewhere a long time ago. But this is a film that I really need to see. It has Brando in it, of course. And so, yeah, I just need to dive into that sometime. I've heard really good things about it, so there's that. And then finally, the last piece of my comic book movie collection is Batman the Animated Series Volume 1. This is the first season of the animated series. I found this at Walmart once for $20, and they've never had the other 3 editions, which is kind of a bummer because I'd really like to have this whole series on DVD, but they go for like $30 on Amazon, which is pretty expensive. So, and of course, Batman the Animated Series is just amazing. It's one of the best animated series of all time. Even if you're not a Batman fan, there's something to be seen in this series. It's just great animation, dirty, gritty, in your face, very reminiscent of the tone of the comics from the 70s until now. So yeah, there it is, my comic book film collection. I was thinking about maybe putting in a few books that I have with this, but with being as many films as this was, I didn't realize how many films I had. I'm actually, maybe I'll do another video of those, maybe not. If you guys want to see I have some books that are related to the comic book films, and then I have a few graphic novels that I wouldn't mind showing off. If you guys want to see that, let me know. Either comment on YouTube or here on Reddit, and I might pull that out for you. So yeah, there's my comic book films. I've jumped on the bandwagon, and now, yeah, I guess I'll see you guys on the next time. See ya.